There are 8 big things that entrepreneurs, experts, and creators who land traditional book deals wish they had never spent money on. So if you are an expert, an entrepreneur or creator, or who wants a traditional book deal, who wants to publish a how-to book, I'm going to save you a lot of money and time today. You are welcome. So let's talk about those 8 things, shall we? Number 1 is books that promise to teach you how to write a book proposal or how publishing works. Y'all, your time is better served getting individual help over reading a book that was outdated the minute it hit the shelf. You're listening to this. You're watching this. You're following me, hopefully, which means there are hours of content that you can listen to, watch, consume, and read to learn about traditional publishing. I also offer consultations, which are more expensive than a book, but way, way, way more effective. As you grow in age or otherwise, you're going to realize that your most valuable resource is time. So please, please, please do not waste that precious commodity trying to do it yourself. Number 2, hiring a PR agency. In case you missed it, the cultural importance of media has changed a lot. While getting a few key features or mentions can be helpful for social proof and credibility, good PR agencies cost $1,000 and aren't worth the investment unless, and this is a big unless, you have a strategy behind capturing those impressions, views, and reads and making those dollar signs, which most people don't. A few years back, I decided to sign a client who still needed to grow their platform. This particular client decided to focus on PR, and though they did get a lot of mentions, it did not grow their follower count or their business. Instead, most of my clients who are successful simply have a handful of podcast experiences relevant to their niche and audience, and that's plenty. Now I'm going to get into the tougher ones, okay, y'all? So the next up is writing retreats. Most of you listening to this episode or watching it on YouTube need to get out of your hidey hole and start growing your audience because your author platform must grow before you get a book deal. A writing retreat does the opposite of that. It's simply a hidey hole you pay for. Often a quite expensive hidey hole that you as an author do not need. If you choose to go on a writing retreat to sketch out your book, write the whole thing, or draft your book proposal, you are wasting time. Because my team and I can help you do that all for you while you are running your business and making money instead of spending it. I could say so much more, but in general, save the writing retreats for after you get a book deal, not before. Next, number 5, book coaches and freelance editors who focus on writing with a capital W. Personally, I'm not precious about crafts. I don't give a fuck about dangling modifiers or ending sentences with prepositions. I use em-dashes and parentheses all the time. The traditional publishing industry kind of takes care of that for me because they have copy editors for all of that. However, what I see online is a lot of book coaches and freelance editors wrapping writers in big warm hugs and talking about beautiful writing all day. And while that has its place, that is why most book coaches and freelance editors fail authors like you. They're focused on the beauty of the writing at the expense of whether anyone will actually read what's being created. Ultimately, the beauty of the writing does not matter if no one knows about the book and doesn't read it because you as the author don't have the ability to promote and sell the dang thing. So if you can't get a literary agent, if you can't get a publisher interested because you've been focused and your editor has been focused or your book coach has been focused on spending all this time making your writing beautiful over your platform, then you're not going to be successful. That might be hard to hear, but I'm actually not telling you not to write as part of that. In fact, if you love to write or you want to get more serious about writing, I am all for that. I think that's great. I encourage everybody I work with to write daily, but you do not need to pay someone who is going to focus on making what you write pretty rather than you spending the time and probably the money on building an author platform and developing the audience that will actually help you become a traditionally published author. Okay. That is the most important thing for 99% of you. And when you've got that, when you've got a platform, call me. hit your girl up in DMs. So I'm going to continue the haterade here a little bit, and that is kind of the point of this, with number 6. Investing in any membership, course, or community that promises you an outcome, like being published or landing a book deal, but is actually charging you for access to information. You're actually just paying for information. So I'm going to blow up a spot here, and if you know, you know. But there is a well-known publisher out there offering a membership that promises to help people create, and I'm quoting here, an industry standard book proposal that publishers won't be able to resist. And yes, I took that direct from their website. But y'all, this is false advertising, and I can say that because I have seen these proposals that this membership created. And I'm telling you, publishers can resist them. And what irritates me the most about this particular publisher and this particular program is that on the sales page, they list all their traditionally published bestsellers on the same site as this community, on the sales page for this community. But y'all, Mel Robbins did not need to join a fucking membership community or enter her book idea into some contest in order to get a book deal. That's just straight up false advertising. It is completely ridiculous. And it is scammy. Now, normally, I would let this shit go. I would not call this out publicly because scammers going to scam. And I try to go high in these situations. But I have met with multiple people who have gone through this specific membership. And a couple of folks I know have worked with the book coach who's associated with this membership. I've seen these industry standard proposals, and unfortunately, they are terrible. Unfortunately, this program takes advantage of authors like yourself the same way that book coaches and freelance editors can. Only these folks are intentional. They know how the traditional publishing industry works. They're insiders, and they're still selling you a dream that's never going to happen. They promise you all these wonderful things without mentioning that in addition to great writing and a solid idea, you also need a way to sell the book. You need an author platform to make that proposal irresistible, not just a blueprint, not just a membership, not just mentorship, not just a fucking contest. That's why this membership, like so many other things, is simply charging you for advice you can already get for free. It's on this podcast. It's on my YouTube channel. It's in my email list. So please, please, please do not waste your money on this. And if you want to know what membership this is, hit me up in the DMs. I'll tell you privately. I'm not going to put them on blast publicly. But a lot of times, what this publisher is doing, and they're a traditional publisher, they got bought and acquired. They were an independent publisher, and they got acquired by a big traditional publisher, but they still operate fairly independently. And I think what they capitalize on is that people want to work with them. People know them. They have marquee authors. I've worked with them. I wrote 2 books for them last year with my clients. And then they take advantage of the fact that y'all want to work with this particular publisher. But the truth is, if you really want to work with them, and a lot of people do, I can help you understand what you need to do in order to achieve that goal for free. You do not need to pay for that. I've worked with them for years. I've sold proposals to them. They have bid on my books. They have published the books I've championed. They have published my authors. I've written books for them, as I mentioned. I've written proposals for them. I've landed deals with them. I wrote proposals that publisher could actually not resist. Okay? But this membership, not worth your money. Please do not spend your money, your time on it. Okay. Number 7. This is really similar, but it's a little different, so I'm going to go there. Any course, event, or summit held by an author, whether there are publishing experts in attendance or not. So I used to go to these events as an expert. I used to be on faculty. And while I have seen successful books come out of events like this, those folks, those authors would have been successful anyway. Most just needed an introduction into the traditional publishing world. So they needed an introduction to a collaborator like me or one of my colleagues or an agent. And guess what? Y'all already know me, so you're set, right? We have the resources for you. You can go ahead and qualify. The quiz does that. The big issue I have with author-led events that promise to teach you about a book deal or show you the way they created a best-selling book is that the author is only basing their advice on their personal experience or maybe what they've heard from colleagues, friends, etc. They're not true industry experts. Similarly, the experts who are there are going to just share the same advice I give you on this podcast for free. So you don't have to waste your money. Because y'all, there is no secret to book publishing. If there were, I would definitely be marketing it to you. Trust me, I'm a marketer, right? I'm an entrepreneur. I'm trying to make money here. This is what I'm doing. But I really want to do what's best for you and give you this free education through this podcast, through the YouTube, so that you don't waste your time and money on stuff like this. And if you really want to invest in your future as a published author, spend that time, that effort, that money on building your business and your audience, because that's going to pay off way sooner and way more effectively throughout your business than any summit or author-led event that you ever attend. And that's true even if they have their literary agent there, even if they have their editor there, even if they have, a bunch of industry experts there. All right, next one, and this is number 8. My favorite thing, well, it's not my favorite thing to bitch about. My favorite thing to bitch about is those author-led summits, but this is close. And number 8 is writers' conferences. Babe, trust me, the conventional writers' conferences ain't for you. That's because most of the time, writers' conferences are focused on fiction, memoir, and children's books, not the kind of books y'all and I are trying to write. They're not focused on how-to nonfiction books. Now, there might be an editor or a literary agent there who works on books, like you and I do in attendance, right? There might be somebody there who works on how-to books. There might be somebody there who works on business books, prescriptive books, books by creators, etc. But most of the time, these are going to be junior folks who are still building their career and expertise and who honestly want to travel for free. That's why I used to go to writers' conferences. I didn't make a lot of money, but they would pay for me to go to Boise or Seattle or San Diego or, Baltimore. And so I would do it. And that's awesome. And it's great. But that doesn't really benefit you as a how-to nonfiction author. Also, a lot of times, people go to writers' conferences looking for community, but what you're going to find at most conferences isn't the community that entrepreneurs and experts and creators, but what you're going to find at most conferences isn't what most of the entrepreneurs, experts, and creators I work with would personally ultimately want or benefit from. So instead of attending a conventional big writers conference, a better option is to find a like-minded community of fellow entrepreneurs, experts, creators that you can bounce ideas off of that will support your dreams and will remind you of who the fuck you are in a good way on your hard days. That's what's actually going to help you. And that's what I see benefiting the clients I work with when it comes to selling their proposal, because they can say, hey, here's my awesome audience, and here's all the people I know that are going to support me who have their own audiences and can bring their own party to my party, right? That's really, really important. So depending on where you're at with your business, though, this can be challenging to find. I know because I've been looking myself. So whether you want a small structured group or a small mastermind or just a collection of friends and colleagues that you reach out to every now and again, find a support system, build that if you want community. But you're not going to find that at a writer's conference. And as I mentioned in previous things I don't want you to waste your time or money on, a lot of the information you would get at a writer's conference is what you're going to get for free on this podcast. And I can save you time and money. You just listen to the episodes. And that's honestly the reoccurring theme or the through line of these top 8 things you should not waste your time or money on if you are an entrepreneur, expert, or creator who wants a book deal. All right. So let's just do a quick recap. So number 1, books that promise to teach you how to write a book proposal or how publishing works. Because the shit is outdated. You don't need it. Just work with somebody, hire somebody, book a consult. The link's in the show notes. Number 2, hiring a PR agency. The big downfall here is that you don't usually have a strategy on how to use those credits, how to use those mentions, how to use those features. Number 3, hiring a podcast agency or doing a podcast tour. This is a strategy for selling your book, not for selling a book deal or getting a book deal. Number 4, writing retreats. Again, do this after the deal, not before it. 5, book coaches and freelance editors who focus on writing with a capital W. These people are going to lure you in with the dream of being a writer and, sitting on a beach somewhere, writing and thinking creatively, but that's bullshit. If you want a how-to book, you need to focus on your platform. Number 6, memberships, courses, and communities that promise you an outcome like being published or landing a book deal, but are actually charging you for the information. The trick here is to look at the results people get and to look at what they're actually delivering you. Because if it's just information or like the chance to ask a literary agent a question, you can do that here for free. Number 7, similarly, any course, event, or summit held by an author, whether there are publishing experts in attendance or not. These people are not experts. I am an expert giving you advice for free. So I'm saving you time and money so you don't have to do any of these things anymore. And number 8, writers' conferences. It's not for you, boo. Okay? And if you want community, there are places for that are better, that are suited to you as an entrepreneur, as a creator. So as always, I hope this helps. Links to all the resources I mentioned are in the show notes. And until next time, cheers to your success. Thanks for tuning into the Kind of Big Book Deal podcast. Want to see where you're at on your book journey? Check out my free quiz at meghanstevenson.com/quiz. That's MEGHANSTEVENSON.com/quiz. See you next time.